All right, today we are going to learn about Git, which is a version control management system. So when you're working with software, one of the things that comes up, we're working with a lot of people working at things all at once. How do we keep track of things and make sure that we're moving forward? How do we control when one developer changes a file and another one's changing the same files? How do we resolve those conflicts so that our projects continue to run? How do we pull down code and use it locally? Git solves all of these problems and a lot more, and we're going to learn about Git today. So Git is a version control system. It was invented by Linus Torvalds, I think is his name, the maker of Linux. He put Git together so that he could make Linux. He needed a version control system, and the ones that were available just weren't as good. So he decided he needed to make his own, and he did. And it's kind of taken on, I think he did that around 2006, and since then it's just grown in popularity. Now it's kind of like the de facto standard. Now there's sites like GitHub, and you can host Git repositories in many different ways. So it's kind of a hard thing to learn though, because there are commands that we have to learn. So there's a whole tool that I'm going to go over today called My Git, and it's a great tool that gamifies learning the key commands in Git. But if I were to explain Git just over a minute, you know how it works. You've got a local repository, a copy of the repository that you can pull from one or many remotes. And then you can control that repository and make changes there by making commits on branches. And then you can also push your changes to any other remote. It's a distributed system. There doesn't have to be a main holder, a main server anywhere. One developer can work with 100 other remote developers seamlessly, and they could all have their own versions. So it's really powerful. In practice, most projects kind of have the main repository that they work on, and everyone kind of commits there. And then there's maintainers that keep that running. So you can do this process called a pull request, where you publish changes and you request to the maintainer to pull your changes in. And then they go and they look at the changes, verify that everything works, and then pull them into the main repository. So this just solves that problem of having multiple people working on one thing together. It's not unique to AI projects. It's just a software development thing. But if you're new to the industry, you're going to have to learn Git. And in my opinion, gamifying it and playing My Git, just playing all the levels, I don't know how long it'll take you, but it's worth the investment. It'll pay dividends throughout your career. So you may want to play it, an hour a day or however long it takes you to get through it, and then come revisit it in a month or two, or in a couple months, just so that your synaptic connections get solidified and you learn this tool. So My Git, it's a game. You download it and you run it, and you just go to ohmygit.org. I'll leave a link in the show notes, and it kind of walks you through where you are and walks you through the graph of the Git and gives you, a step-by-step tutorial on all the different features of Git. So let's try it out. All right, so here we are on My Git. I'm in level 1, living dangerously. So it's just an app you download, you get running on your computer, and then you're here, and it gives you directions over here. And then this is kind of like the playing board. And then you get some cards here sometimes to help you outline your solution. And then you could also type things in here. It says add a line to form text. So I can just go here and do adding a line. They want us to fill in one more reason you want to learn Git. I want to learn Git to teach my YouTube channel. How awesome Git is. By the way, Git, it's like for the term like you old Git. It's not an acronym or anything. It's just Git. It's a short thing that a short name that Linus came up with, and it stuck. All right, so now we're gonna go to the next level. Making backups. This is kind of like before Git, how in the olden days how we did it. When we didn't want to use the VCS systems that we had, like I used ClearCase, which was awful, and then I also used wasn't as bad. Tortoise SVN was something before Git that we used that was slow, like a turtle. It was aptly named, but to avoid using those things, you would end up naming your file like form text 2, form text the final, form text really the final, and they're just showing you that problem is solved with Git. But we are going to add a line to form 2 really the final. Just so. All right, now I go to the next level. All right, now, if you think about it, Git can be a time machine because you can go forward and back with commits. They kind of mark time and mark your configuration over time, or your files over time. So let's initialize the time machine. That command is git init. With this game, you can just drag it in, or I could have typed in git init over here, in here. I think it might make me do that. I can do that in the command line here. Initialize the time machine. So now it'll make me type git init. And there are options there. You can do like the name of it and everything else. I might teach us that in a later lesson. But git init, and that creates a Git repository in the folder that you're at for the files that go underneath that folder. Files and folders underneath that folder. So we've initialized that time machine. Git itself is a project or a program you have to download and get running. You can install it on Mac with Brew. You could just Google Git and go to the official site and learn how to install it. All right, so now that you have a file, you can commit that file, then you can make a change and you can commit that change, and then you'll have 2 timestamps. They're called commit hashes that you can then go to move around and see your versions of your files. So we've got this file glass here. Glass is full of water. I'm going to make a snapshot with a commit. So we'll go down here, git commit glass. Oh, error. Glass did not match any files known to Git. Oh, Git needs to know about needs to know about glass. So we'll go git add glass as a file to be tracked. All right, now we'll do git commit glass. Please enter a commit message. The glass is full. Save. Oh, there we go. So we got our first commit. Okay. All right, now change the contents of glass. Then I drank some. Now it's half full. Save. So I've changed it locally on my computer, but I haven't checked it into the Git system that manages it. So now I just need to commit glass again. Whoops. It's git commit. Alright, so git commit glass. There we go. There's my message. And the commit messages are nice they're really just for your system. You do git log and see in plain English what changed for that file over and over again. So you don't want to just do next committed something, changed it again. You want to kind of say what you changed and why, so that a person looking at things can, in the Git log, can understand at a high level what changes were made. That's the purpose of the commit message. And there are tools like Comitizen that enforce things like that. So if you're working in a large team, I do recommend looking into those tools to enforce things like enforcing good commit messages that mean something. So that's how this works. You just go from level to level to level, and it'll give you challenges, and you end up learning all the ins and outs of the Git ecosystem. I really recommend it. It's the funnest way I've learned to learn all these ins and outs. And if you're not being guided, it can be very frustrating to learn Git, because you can get yourself into trouble, and then you have to like reset your repository, clean everything, and get it back online. So I would recommend going through this training. It's worth it. It's valuable. It's not going away. It's one of those tools that showed up and everyone kind of migrated to over like 3 years and hasn't gone back, and there's been no competitor since it's kind of scratched the itch. Only things that have happened is we've gotten nicer and nicer GUIs to use the Git tools, but having the understanding of how it works underneath and the command line always comes in handy. There's always one Git ninja on the team that is the go-to person. That person could be you. Those people are the ones that tend to be the ones that rise towards world class. So take this tool seriously, use it, and it's going to be valuable for you if you're working in software or software adjacent forever. So it's one of those, like, some things are trendy and come in and out. This is not. This will be here. I'm kind of signing up for this, but I bet we'll be using Git 10 years from now, when I've committed to the next 10 years for this YouTube. So I'm betting that 10 years from now we'll still be using Git in some semblance. It might have been upgraded a little bit, but it really solves the problem really well, and it's been used for a long time and will probably be used a long time to come. So with that, My Git repositories, use them. There'll be links below. Thanks for joining. Again, the purpose of this YouTube channel is to help take you from beginner in AI to world class over a course of years. I'll be posting content regularly, and I'm happy to have you on this journey with me as we become world class and shape the AI revolution together. Thanks. Have a good one.